Double the Kash Tira, double the top cut? The Italian Open was interesting. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more content. The Italian Open here. Now, this is the Italian Open. Basically, these are big regionals that the European region has been basically doing. And they've been a very, very big help to a lot of the competitive community out here. Now, your most represented decks in the top cut for this, you get two Rescue Ace. Now, Rescue Ace did not have an easy time out here because you had a lot of different, we're going to say challengers kind of stepping up into this top cut, wanting to make sure that, you know, whatever was happening here, that players would be able to kind of challenge that. And, of course, one of those challengers was actually double branded. And I'm very impressed right now. Maybe it's just the early stages of the format. Maybe it's just how stupid good Super Poly feels in some of these events. But right now, you are genuinely looking at these powerhouse cards, ripping these boards apart and just putting you in good positions. And then out of nowhere here, we had double Kash Tira. Now, I'm not going to lie, Kash Tira felt like a very good deck kind of start this format off with. You know, the ability to Fenrir Unicorn are the stupidest spot removal cards that you could ever actually want to have. And the fact that you have access to both of those, plus, you know, the entire Rank 7 arsenal underneath your feet here, you've got to really consider the things that you can do with this deck. All right, you know, I understand we lost our macro machine, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to try to challenge things out here. Now, we also had one Sprite deck as well. I feel like Sprite's recurring theme back to the format here has been very, very welcome. And we also had one of the Terrifying Menaces, known as the Fire King deck, also kind of stepping on in to the light here, showing us that, hey, you know, I'm still here. We can still do something. I'm liking what I'm seeing here for this. Let's pass on over to those deck lists. So, starting things off here, we have our Rescue Ace Duelist. I do want to say, hey, you know, Airlifter, you know, card went to 1. Everybody kind of looked around and was like, I'm done with this deck. You know, I don't want to play this garbage anymore. Contrary to popular belief, you shouldn't have thought that because it's still doing its thing. Now, Ghost Bell has been one of the biggest MVPs of this format. Let me tell you, this card is stealing games from players, and it's just because, like, they're not really used to trying to play around with this, which is kind of interesting. I don't know. You think that Ghost Bell is one of those cards that, you know, you would be aware of being relevant in a meta, but okay, sure. The rest of this deck, I'm not gonna lie, feels 100%. You don't get, as of things right now, you don't get a lot of crazy room in these builds to kind of explore and try out things. I mean, like, ooh, double Pankratops. I guess this is kind of cool. Having access to a Sprint for time is not necessarily something that I would see this deck trying to do, but you know what? Once again, when time calls and, you know, you're trying to find the stupidest way to possibly win the game, just go ahead and, you know, use one of your fresh little Link 2s to make a sprint. Burn your opponent for exact lethal. I've not seen any builds do this just yet, but I'm disgusted with the fact that you can. Next up here, finally, somebody out here in the Dimension Shifter world gets it. So for those of you that watch these videos and you're like, oh boy, you know, Shifter's been pretty quiet as of late. Nah. No. I'm going to point out that this card is probably one of the best reasons why this deck has been able to flourish and do so well, because shifting away your opponent's entire graveyard for literally 2 turns is a little bit absurd. And that's where, you know, stupid good cards like this and this come into play here. You start whittling away your opponent's advantage. It's amazing that this deck, in the current state of its, you know, self, is able to do its thing. Now, I mean, post-side decking here, you have the Drolls, Interesting that, we do have the third book in here. Actually, I'm surprised that Book of Moon actually was able to help this deck out at all. To be fair, Book does feel a little bit lackluster at certain points, but I will say, if you're able to get one key monster face down after you've set up like Fenrir Unicorn or, one of your utility options from down here, you should be in a pretty good position. The anti-runic card. I see that we had some fun today. The ability to deny your opponent the chance to play the game. And hey, look, it's summon limit. This is a nice little refresher out here to actually see. Good stuff. Okay. Next up here, the other pile of cards that has been a little bit of a problem in the meta. So, your runic innovations are actually, everybody ran over and said that we're going to play Bysteel Runic this format, but a Bysteel Runic success has been a little bit far and in between, and that's not really a terrible thing, but I feel like a lot of people genuinely kind of overestimated the deck a little bit right now. I will say right now that, everybody's looking to whatever engine that we can toss into the deck, what can we play Runic with right now, even though Generator was also really hyped. But it looks like, yes, we did have the for hire version actually show back up out here and do its thing, and this is by far, I think, one of the oldest piles that we have seen, because you do see that this build is playing triple evenly matched, and that's not it's not exactly the brightest innovation tree that I think that we've seen out here, but let's call it what it is. Evenly gives you this option to rip apart your opponent's field. You can go second, you can play massively ignorant and not even really care. I mean, you've also got double talents in here as well. If you need more going second cards, you just call Pankratops up on the front. He's going to smash through the front door. He's going to help you out. Like, everything that you need in terms of, the multiple options should be present for this deck. And, I don't know, give this a shot. This is actually kind of disgusting. Thinking about the advantage that you can get spinning like, a draw 3, draw 4, it gets pretty toxic. All right. Oh, hey, it's pretty much similar to what we saw earlier. You see the more Kash Tira. But okay, so we have the triple cosmic still present here. We still have the double book here. I see that they chose to extend out an additional Ghost Bell, which isn't gonna hurt at all, right? You wanna have as much, hand traps as you can have to kind of assist you along the way with this, which is pretty good. I do see here that we are also playing some Dimensional Fissure in here as well. So, if your opponent's trying to do something cheesy or you're worried about something, Dimensional Fissure should be a free, win for you in a lot of these matchups. I was actually starting to explore this in Runic recently, and I think that this card is a little bit unfair. Well, I guess all floodgates are really unfair, so that's pretty important. Also, Summon Limit, getting the chance to deny your opponent the full gas that they need to be able to do the multi-summons. Yeah, interesting. Next up here, we have our branded 50 card pile. I feel like we've been seeing a lot of this. It's good to see you back, Gimmick Puppet. The fact that this deck is able just to main deck this stuff and get away with it, good. We've also been playing Fusion Duplication in here, and I see this in a lot of lists, but I never really actually see it get the chance to resolve. And I don't know what it is. It's just one of those things that you're like, oh, okay. I also see we're playing the Crossout Detonators down here for the Ashes. We actually board the Ashes to help you out so that you can board break and roll on through on the following turn. Okay, sure. Outside of that, we have the Masquerade Dragon here. Most of the rest of the things that Branded, has at its arsenal are pretty standard with this list. This is disgusting to still see. After all of this time, you can still time capsule your deck and still have it do well. Hi, Borlode Furious Dragon. And our last list out of this event here is MOAR Rescue Ace. Talk about standard out here. I cannot wait to see how Populous is going to change the way that this deck plays. And I do think it will do a lot. This build did choose to play Drolls, which is fine. Honestly, you need as many cards as you can to slow down your opponent's advancement in the game. And we actually have double enemy controller here. I will say that I am a huge, huge fan of Econ, especially when you're looking at things out here. with how this deck gets the chance to kind of set up, go through its boards, and, you know, have more defensive options. Good. And of course, yeah, anti-spell fragrance. You know your opponent's going to be super upset with you if you flip the anti-spell and just steal the game from them. But that's the beauty of Yu-Gi-Oh! That we can get away with this. I'm gotta love the current stage of the game. So, what do you guys think about this breakdown? Please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.